little bit about me. My name is João Malanga, and I am an instructional designer for CETO, and CETO stands for Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning here at University of Idaho. And as you can see on my screen, I have the agenda. As I said earlier, it's going to be a very hands-on activity. And basically, it's going to have the welcome, which is happening right now. And we are going to see very quickly the AI tools approved at UI by OIT, and we are going to set up some accounts for those who would like to set up account. And basically, this is going to be also another essential step of this hands-on activity. Then we are going to go deeper to the hands-on activity, which is prompt engineering, which is the core of this presentation today. Then we're going to have some showcase. People are going to have chance to share with us what they have, for example, generating using the tips that I'm going to be providing today, and also some folks that are here are going to provide. And finally, we're going to have a simple reflection on this activity that we're going to do. So with that being said, as I said earlier, once again, it's going to be a hands-on activity, and this hands-on activity is going to start now, which I would like you to scan this QR code, which Sally is going to also share the link on the chat. Basically, this is a poll just to get ourselves started, and I'm going to be sharing also the result, I mean the response of this poll with you. So now I'm going to change my screen and share your responses right now. I can see some responses here. We have the first question is, what's your top goal for today's session? We have information, AI awareness and skills to learn about AI into work, building AI skill, learn something. It's a lot of good answers here and a lot of excitement as far as I can see. That's good. That's good. I like it. I like AI awareness to learn, and it's still coming. New ideas, learn something new, automation, and a lot of other stuff. That's great. I appreciate you all to participate in this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this presentation and continue our presentation here on on Zoom. Thank you so much for sharing your insights on it. So after this quick poll that we have done on Mentimeter, I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide, which is basically some guidance for AI here at UI, because I think it's really important that we understand that there are some tools, generative AI tools that are approved at the University of Idaho by OIT, the Office of Information Technology here. And there is this link which is going to be available also in the chat. Sally is going to provide that link to you so you can understand more about the types of tools that are approved here, and you can also get more information. For the sake of this presentation today, I'm going to be using Copilot because Copilot is a tool that all UI folks have access to the full license. You don't have to pay anything, but the idea that I'm going to cover here about generative AI is going to be generic for any tool, but the tool that I'm going to use specifically here today is going to be Copilot. So if you have some time, feel free to check the link so you can see what types of tools are approved here at UI. That's enough for it. And now we are going to the account setup. As I say here, choose an AI tool approved at UI. And I would recommend you all to use Microsoft because Microsoft Copilot is the tool that we all have access. And we have also, like, as I said earlier, we don't have to buy any license. So right now, I would like you all to get started with Copilot. Sally will also share the Copilot link on the chat so we can all get started. And if you have a UI account, it means that you have also your Copilot with you. It is part of the Microsoft package. You don't have to create an account. Right now, what I need is that you just have access to your Copilot so that we can have do what we are going to do next. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes, maybe 1 minute, so that you all can have access to your Copilot, and then we're going to start doing some exercise inside Copilot. So I'm going to give you 1 minute, then we can move to the next slide, which is going to be basically prompt engineering. And I'm going to change my slide and also open my Copilot. I'm going to stop sharing this one here, and I'm going to be sharing my Copilot right now as well. So here we have Copilot. So the first thing that we are going to do here, and it's going to happen with any generative AI tool that you have, and today we're going to be working specifically with Copilot. The first thing that you should know is that you need to say something to the Copilot, to the chatbot. And basically, this thing that you need to say is what we're going to call instruction. You need to give instruction. And basically, this instruction or this specific instruction that you're going to provide to your co-pilot or to your another a generative AI is what we are going to call prompt engineering. And to start this task, I want you all to start with the following prompt, okay, with the following instruction. How can you help me? And you don't need to enter or to start the chat yet. I just need you, like, I just want you to type it. How can you help? How can you help me? It's going to be our first prompt for this today session. And before you press enter, before you submit this prompt to the tool, we are going to understand some basic thing here on Copilot. The first thing is you can write here on Copilot, or you can also, for example, use your, for example, a voice command. For example, if I delete what I wrote here, you're going to have this icon, which means, okay, speaker or voice. It means that you can also submit your prompt using your voice. But for the sake of this presentation, I will not use the voice. I'm going to just use the text method. Then you're going to have this plus button here. With this plus button, it means that you can add image or files to this conversation, to this prompt. You can also give a specific direction to the Copilot only to generate image to your prompts based on this option here, generate image. It means that every single prompt that you're going to provide to Copilot is going to be to generate image. And we have here the creation of podcasts. I have only one remaining here because I'm not using, I'm using like the privacy method here. And we have also the take a quiz if you want to take a quiz in a specific topic. And here we have also the deliberation method, which you can act, you can make your Copilot be smart, act in a smart way, which basically means it's going to think deeply or quickly based on the task. We have think deeper, which is going to, if you have complex tasks that you want generative AI to do, you can go to this option, this reasoning mode. We have study and learn if you want to study or learn about a specific thing. And we have search here, which if you are doing more research kind of, you want to generate some kind of thing that is more for research focused. So research method of reasoning is going to be much better for you. So for today, we are going to use the SMART method, which is the default method. And now we are going to submit this prompt to the AI and see how it can help us. Okay. And hopefully you all also have submitted this prompt. And here I can see that it has said that I can help you think, create, plan, and get things done all in one place. and the way I help shifts depending on what you are trying to do. So basically, this prompt is going to help us to understand how this specific generative AI tool can help us. And this same prompt you can apply to any generative AI tool that you are planning to use or that you are using, and you want to understand the strength of this tool. And for here, I'm going to also give you chance to see you on the box, on the comment box, to answer the following question. Do you think like this tool can help you, for example, to the task that you mentioned earlier? You can also write a text or use the number one to say yes or the number two to say maybe. And I'm going to just wait for your answers a little quick. Someone said I don't have the smart option. The smart option is default. It should be there, but we can fix that later. So with that being said, do you think these options that we have here, not options, this output that Copilot gave to us can meet your needs according to what you said earlier? We have one, which means yes. We have two, which means maybe. And we have also Sky here who would like to say something. Yes, Sky, you can come in because we're going to be collaborating here today. Yes, Sky, you can say something.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to mention that it can sometimes be difficult to tell if you're in the University of Idaho version of Copilot or your personal version of Copilot. And I think you might be in just the personal one. Can you click on that little like person icon in your bottom left corner?
And yeah, I think this is the university Copilot version,
Perfect. Yep.
right?
Yep. And the thing I wanted to point out is in that top right corner, there's a little green shield on the way top right corner.
Ah, right here.
And that indicates that you're signed in with your enterprise account. It's protected. Um, and so that's the thing to look for if you're going to work with moderate risk data. But it's really
All
easy
right.
to be signed into the personal and not know that you, yeah. Hope that helps.
And Sky, as you are from the OIT, why don't we have the smart options here on this enterprise method of Copilot, like the other methods of reasoning of Copilot? Do you know why we don't have here?
They're just two different versions.
Ah,
There's
okay.
one that's a
So,
university version and it's approved for university work. And then there's
okay,
a
got it.
personal version that anybody can use.
Ah, thank you, Sky, for that. So basically what we have here in this version, which is the university version, we will not have those reasoning options that we have. For example, if we are using the personal or if you are active, enable the privacy method. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prompt again. How can you help me? And then let's see if we're gonna have different outcome or the same outcome. And here say, I can help you in a lot of practical day-to-day ways, especially given your work as an instructional designer. He knows that I'm an instructional designer. Uh, Here's a clear picture of what I'm good at and how that can translate into real support for you. So basically here, Copilot is providing an idea of how it can help us. So we're gonna move to the next stage here, and we are going to understand how we can provide better prompts or give better instructions to Copilot when we are working with it. We have someone who want to say something. It's Sally. Sally, please.
Hi everyone. Just to let you know, Judy, who works too for OIT, has put the link on how to access the Copilot for UI version on the chat if you still have issues to connect to the UI version.
Thank you, Sally, for that. Do we still have people who are having issues with the Copilot? Please, if you're having any issue, you can use, let's say, the number two to say that you have some issue. Then we can maybe give you 1 minute so you can keep up with what we are doing right now. Because right now we are moving to more specific way of how we can give specific instructions to the AI and how we can use prompt engineering specifically, and we're going to use some prompts here, which is going to be also available for you right here. So I think everybody's set. And before I move, I'm going to be moving from Copilot and also in my presentation because there are something that I think you should be available to see as well. And here I have this slide here. I'm going to share with you right now, which is going to give you some principles that we are going to use in action, actually, of how we can follow these principles. Basically, we have let's consider 5 principles when we are using prompt engineering. And these 5 principles vary from role, task, context, format. And of course, keep the chat rolling. Basically, role is that you're going to give a role to the chatbot, to the generative AI to perform a certain activity. For example, it can perform as an instructional designer, as a painter, as an architect, as an expert of any specific field that you like. And of course, task. You need to be specific about what you want, what task you want the AI to perform. It's going to be very important. And if you don't understand this, we're going to do it in a hands-on activity in few seconds. And context, because sometimes when we give instruction without context, it can be really difficult for the AI to give you more specific information. With that being said, when you provide it with context, when you provide relevant background and information, your output can be also very good and also aligned to your needs. And we have the format here. You should also be able to specify the desired output format, if it's going to be a table, a list, a paragraph, a Word document, an Excel document, an email, whatever format you think it might be, you should be specific. And this keep the chat rolling. It's really a very important thing because sometimes the first output that any generative AI provide to you will not be the one that you need. So keep the chat rolling. And we are going to do it right now here, and I'm going to change my screen right now. I'm going back to Copilot, and here we're going to the task one. And here, as I like photography, we're going to be creating a photography lesson, okay? As you can see, this is an example. The task one is an example of a poor prompt. And I want all of us to prompt this to Copilot, which basically you're going to write here, create a photography lesson. You can also prompt it, create a photography lesson. Photography. Oh my God, I'm not writing photography. Well, so we have here create a photography lesson. This is a poor prompt because we are not following the principles of prompt engineering. After we do that, we can submit it and see the result of this prompt. Okay, below is a complete ready to teach photography lesson. You can use these or adapt. I design it with clear objectives, and I guess you might have different contests. As you can see, the generative AI still provide, a photography lesson to us. But here, because I didn't follow the principles of generative AI, of prompt engineering, this is going to be very vague. It's going to be without my context. It's going to be without any type of format. As you can see, we have here lesson overview, learning objectives, key concept, composition basic, lesson flow, mini lecture. It's a lot of information here, and most of this information doesn't resonate with what I want, for example, in my field. So this is a good example to tell you, like, when you provide prompts that are not specific and you don't follow the principles of prompt engineering, your output is going to be also very generic. And now I'm going to share also with you a different prompt, which is going to be available on the chat, which we are going to follow the principles of generative AI. I'm going to write it on the chat so you can also copy and paste it very fast. It is available in the chat now. And I'm going to also use here, copy and paste here. Okay. So here we have this prompt, which is a good prompt, which basically I said, act as an instructional designer. First, I gave it a role. I'm providing a role to AI. Create a 15 minutes beginner photography lesson that explain the three pillars of photography. And here I'm giving a specific task for the generative AI to do. And more importantly, I'm also giving a context because right now in photography, the AI is going to talk about the ISO, the aperture, and the shutter speed. And this is one of the important thing about generative AI. Actually, a lot of people say, a lot of research indicate that people who use generative AI or who have good outputs in generative AI are those people who are already expert in their field. Because when you understand the aspect of your field, it's going to be really very important skill. I mean, an important thing when you are using prompt engineering. Because if you don't understand what you are doing with the generative AI, the output can be really very bad. And here we have here include a brief definition of each concept, a real-world analogy, and one hands-on practice tip. Format is a structured lesson outlined with a clear heading. So with his prompt here, when I submit, this copilot, this specific generative AI tool is going to provide the type of lesson or the type of output that I expect. However, we should be careful here. Even though I give a specific context, a specific prompt to the tool, it is important that we still review it because at the end of the day, we are dealing with AI, we are dealing with a machine. It's important that we as human review it later to see if it meets the needs of what I need. Then we can fine tune it always. So here now, the generative AI was not generic anymore. It provided me a 15 minutes lesson and it provided me the three pillars of photography, the lesson's objectives, the big idea here, the pillars here, the definition of the pillars. And as I specified in my prompt, it also provided some headings. And here, if I want to keep the conversation rolling, which we are going to do, and normally the AI is going to suggest you to keep the conversation rolling by providing you some tips, some ideas. For example, I can convert this into slides or a Canvas module, add one-page learner handout, adapt it for asynchronous or micro-learning delivery, align it to formal learning outcomes or a rubric, but I will not choose any of this. I'm going to give you some other prompts so we can keep the conversation rolling with this tool. And by conversation rolling, I have here some follow-up for the AI. And the first one, I'm going to copy paste and also share with you here. It's been done. And here on my Copilot, I'm going to now ask the following. Now add a 5-question quiz at the end of the lesson to check understanding. And now the Copilot is going to add 5-question quiz at the end of the lesson to check the understanding. With that being said, we are here working with a specific field, which is photography, and we are talking about the three pillars of photography, and we are generating a lesson. Basically, this is just an example. You can do the same, following the same prompt engineering principles to create a syllabus, to create, for example, a rubric, and of course, having this back and forth conversation with chat with the Copilot or with another chatbot so that you can have the output that you desire. Even when you get the output that you desire, later on as a human, you should be aware that you should review because sometimes AI can, hallucinate. Sometimes it can provide you things that are not aligned to your context, even though you specify that in the prompt. So here I I have this example which I'm keeping the conversation rolling, and AI provided me these questions here. We have question one, which camera setting controls how sensitive the sensor is to light, and it's going to give you at least five. And here, if I want to go deeper, I can also say like, hey, rewrite it. I want you to rewrite. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to tell it, rewrite the ISO explanation so it is appropriate for a 10 years old. So I want the explanation about the ISO to be simple. Like you are explaining to a 10 years old, and I'm going to submit this prompt, and this is what I'm going to have. And here I kept the conversation going, and you can keep it going until you find it like interesting for you. So with that being said, this was a very this was just an example of how you can use generative AI and also prompt engineering. And now I'm gonna share this slide, which basically is a showcase slide, which you don't need to do the photography. You don't need to do the photography stuff. You can just choose any kind of topic that you feel is of your interest, and you're going to be following the principles of generative AI. For those who don't remember the principles are basically these ones here: role, task, context, and format. And now I'd like you to generate anything that is aligned to your field. Then you can feel free to share with us. Those who, of course, feel comfortable to share, you can share that with us. So with that being said, this is the showcase time, the show time. And yeah, so I will give you at least 2 minutes. Then you can share with us what you have produced and if you feel comfortable with the production of that and how you think you can improve that as a human according to the output that AI gave to you. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this task and also for us to be chatting on the types of output that you have gotten. So yeah, I'm going to be waiting for you now. And when you're ready, you can press, also you can use the number one so I can understand that you are ready. I'm going to be on mute for now and give you 2 minutes so you can later on showcase what you have produced with your Copilot. All right, someone asked where is the link for the Copilot version. So I just copy and paste the link that was shared and it's available in the chat right now. It's going to be the last submission. And yeah, if there is anyone who would like to showcase, I think you are able to share your screen with us and you can share what you have done with the Copilot or what kind of output that Copilot gave to you and what you think about it. And if using the principles of prompt engineering helped you to have the output that you like. So feel free to request to share your screen. Is there anyone? Do we have anyone who'd like to share? We have Beth. Okay, Beth, thank you so much. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can share yours. And let's learn from Beth about your output.
Okay, let's see. All right, so I work in the American Language and Culture program, and so I just put in a prompt.
Yes.
I gave the context. You're an experienced ESL teacher's training in instructional design. Create a 5-minute mini speaking lesson for use with a group of intermediate English language learners. So it did it for me.
And what do you think about the output?
Good. Yeah. I mean, and it also gives examples of what they might say. I think you could, yeah,
You
I
think
mean,
you should keep the conversation rolling, like according to the output? Is there anything like you think, maybe you should do that better? I don't know, because you are the expert here in this subject. Do you think you should keep this conversation rolling so you can have maybe better outputs?
Could do, yeah. I mean, I would have to look at it more carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's possible to get the students to actually use the generative AI to help them create responses too. Because I do think we need to teach them how to use it ethically. So
Yes, that's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Beth, for sharing your screen.
yeah.
And I would invite someone else to share the screen and also to think about to tell us what this person, for example, think about the output. And also feel free if there is like any other technique that you have been using and has been working for you, and you think like it should be a good idea to share with us today. Please, you can also ask to share your screen because, as I said earlier, it's going to be a more collaborative kind of activity. It's going to be hands-on, and we're going to also apply some of the things that you think might be working for you. Okay, we have Natalie who'd like to share. Please, Natalie, we'd love to see what you have. And thank you so much, Beth, for sharing your screen. Beth, you can stop sharing your screen now, and we are going to have Natalie now, so Natalie can also share their screen. Thank you, Beth, for sharing your screen. Natalie, are you able to share your screen now?
So
Yeah,
are you seeing that?
yes, now we can
Okay.
see it.
Okay, so we're doing a series of workshops for students who are applying to med school, dental school, any of the healthcare profession graduate programs, right? And so I just we're halfway through our workshop series, so we're going to be working on one and a little bit here on letters of recommendation. I mean, I've been doing this like I teach an application prep class, but this year I'm doing workshops, so I just for fun asked it to provide the three pillars of letters of recommendation. And it was, I have to make some minor changes here, but it was really quick, right? Because I'll have handouts and I'll for my agenda. So if I just wanted to put this into my agenda for what I'm doing for 1 hour, I can just cut and paste, put this in, and then make some changes to it. So it's it's pretty accurate. There are some minor changes I have to make.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing
You're
that with
welcome.
us. And I can see that by applying this prompt engineering principle, it can make your life a little bit easier, but still, you still, for example, need to review it to see if it meets the needs, for example, of your work. And I
Right.
like that you are now applying this technique. Thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing
You're
that with
welcome.
us. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So is there anyone who'd like to share? Because we are in the showcase, we like to see what you are doing, and feel free also to collaborate or to provide some tips on how you have been using AI. Okay, we have Sky. Sky, feel free to share your screen as well and share with us your output. And Natalie, we still see your screen. You can stop sharing. Oh, perfect. That's great. And now, Sky, yeah, you are mute, Sky. You can unmute yourself and feel free to share your screen as well.
Yeah,
Perfect.
looks like my screen is still loading up. All
All
right.
right, now we can see it.
So I found Copilot is really useful for summarizing information and finding information. So like we have all of these policies in our APMs. If I'm not in OIT and I want to find out what password policy we have or how to set up an account, I don't want to read through all of these. But what you can do is ask it to summarize all of the key policies from that APM and everything underneath it. So it can actually go and click through each of those links and provide a summary of these key policies. It's always good to check to make sure it's telling you the truth. So you could click on a link to the specific item that's referencing. And then just as a test, I have a prompt. So I want to find out about our policy for purchase cards. I know it's somewhere in the APMs. I think it's in APM 20. Can you tell me which policy it is and provide the link? And it says, yeah, there's a policy, but it's actually under accounts payable. It's not under the link that you provided me. and it identifies APM 75.37. It gives kind of a brief summary, gives me a link to that APM so I can see, exactly what our policy is. And it also gives some background and maybe some related policies like purchasing criteria, accounts payable as a whole. So I found it, yeah, it can be really useful for kind of crawling through our website and getting information like that.
Appreciate that, Sky. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I think we have also someone who like to share. Is that Frank and Adriana? Would you like to share as well? Because here I can see that Frank said was thinking on it. I don't know if you are good now. Adriana, would you like to share with us what you have done and what you think about that? So with that being said, I'm going to add that you can do a lot of good thing with AI as long as you really understand how prompt engineering work, and you can make it like customize the prompt according to your needs. For example, Sky, for example, use Copilot a lot when he wants to find a specific link on the website or any other relevant information. So, is there anyone who'd like to share the screen and also to share a tip on generative AI? Or we can say it's all good for showcase, because I have one more tip which I think is really good, and I'm going to share that with you very soon. But let's finish the showcase first. And it's open to anyone to ask if, yeah, not to ask, to share anything that they have produced. No one else. Okay, so this is what I would like to share with you now. I'm going to go back to my Copilot. I guess my Copilot is this one. Yes, it is. And I'm going to share you this. So we are talking about prompt engineering, which is basically, I call it the art of, giving instructions to generative AI. And as it is an art, I would like to tell you, like, you can also use generative AI to improve your prompt. Because sometimes you feel like maybe I'm not giving like a good prompt. You can also use generative AI for to improve your prompt. For example, I'm going to give you an example right now. Improve the following prompt to generate. It means that right now I'm using AI to improve my prompt, okay, to generate an image of, let's say, of a cat, having fun in the rain, for example. It's just a basic kind of thing. And now what's going to happen is AI will only work on the improvement of this specific prompt. Okay, it means that basically, if you have like a good idea of your prompt, of the thing that you want to generate, but even so you want this thing to be improved, you can also use AI. And here we have this prompt. Okay, we have this improve the image prompt. A playful orange tabby cat, joyful splashing in paddles, as you can read there. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to copy this prompt that was improved. Then I'm going here. Actually, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to prompt it back to generative AI or to Copilot to now generate this image. And I'm going to add the following words: generate, or create the following image. And you can follow me on that, doing a different thing with your AI. We're just playing around. So now Copilot is going to be producing this. And it's going to be processing. And now my image is being processed by generative AI. It can take some time. It can be faster. It's going to also depend on the type of image it's going to be generated. But the main idea here is that you can use also generative AI to polish or to make your prompts look better or sounds better in some case. And now we have here an image of a cat, which the beginning was playing in the rain. The beginning was, let me see, my first prompt was to do improve the following to generate images of cat having fun in the rain. Yeah, yeah. And now it's like this. Wow, it's coming to life. Taking some time because it's coming to life. But I like the image though. And of course, here you can also keep the conversation rolling because now it's generating an image of a cat, and it can be a cat or any kind of image or any kind of document that you are trying to work on. And here you have the image that firstly in my head was as an image of a cat having fun in the rain. And then I made it better, the prompt like this. And now, as you can see, I have this prompt. So this would be my last tip about prompt engineering for you. And did anyone generate an image while I was doing this technique? Is there anyone who produced some good images that you can share? You don't need to share the output. I mean, you should share the output, which is the image. But I would like also to give you some time to produce an image. And let's see some images that you have, for example, produced with AI using this prompt technique. Is there anyone who feel comfortable to share anything, an image or something that produced by improving the prompt, improved by AI per se? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can also be able, those who want to share an image or any other thing that they produced using this prompt improved by AI. Is there anyone? It's okay if there isn't anyone. It's still building the image. Someone is rendering. Is there anyone rendering, which the Copilot is rendering? You can show us like maybe just a portion of the rendering just to see if you like the outcome of your improved prompt. Personally, I like this prompt. Uh, the image was what I was thinking about. Yeah, a cat playing in the rain. Perfect. So while we are waiting for some people to maybe rendering their image, I'm going to share another slide here, which is basically a quick feedback. But before going to the feedback, I would like to ask if you have, for example, any question or any comment that you'd like to see covered here today. And it won't be only for me, it's going to be also for people who are participating, because as I said, I don't want to be the holder of all knowledge because we are dealing with AI. At the end of the day, we are all learning with this new technology, and there are people who are spending more time with the technology, and it's okay. And we can, for example, collaborate here. So feel free to give a comment or provide a question. And now I'm going to also share the feedback here, which still is my cat. There is a cat here. Okay, so I'm going to provide the feedback link, which you can scan. And Sally also shared where is this? A link, the link of this QR code of the feedback. It means that if you cannot scan the code, you can also use the link to provide us some feedback, because your feedback is really important so that we can improve the future sessions of this kind of topic that we are covering today. With that being said, feel free to leave any comment, any question, because we still have some time, and we will appreciate the feedback that you are going to be providing today. So to sum up, today we talked about jumpstart your AI skills, which basically you'll learn that there are a lot of AI tools out there, but here at University of Idaho, we have some tools that are approved by the Office of Information Technology, which we also share the link, which anyone can take a look at that. And today we decided to work specifically with Copilot, which is a tool that is used here at University of Idaho, and you don't have the need, for example, to buy any external tool. With that being said, when we talk specifically about jumpstart your AI skill, generative AI skill. If you don't have an account, the first thing that you should do is create an account. And to be honest, some of these platforms to use their generative AI, some of them don't need an account. But here at UI, as you have already an UI account, it means that it's going to be embedded to your AI account, in this case, the Copilot version. After that, we also covered prompt engineering, which is basically the practice of giving instructions to generative AI so that you can have the best solutions of your output. And we worked on some activities which you collaborated with me. You provided some good information, and you also shared some of your outputs. And finally, I gave you also a tip of how you can use AI to improve your prompts. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to AI, prompt engineering is basically the backbone of AI. And of course, you should combine prompt engineering and your knowledge, your expertise as someone who understands the topic better than anyone else, per se. And the combination of it is going to really give you a very good result. So this was today's presentation. I have here some comments which are basically thank you. I can share if I want, if one. Yes, and we still have some time, and I'm gonna stop sharing here. I'm gonna stop sharing, and feel free to share. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, so we can see what you have generated. Feel free to do that. Oh, we have a beautiful cat. And can you speak? I guess you are on mute.
I asked to improve my prompt to get an image generated of a computer mouse that looks like a tabby cat.
Oh, wow.
And then the response was, I took the response, well, the response we had offer different types of options to choose from, more cute and whimsical, more realistic, fun and stylized. I chose the fun one and said create an image to the prompt that was given to me, and this is what I got.
Yeah, that's good. Do you like the final result?
That's the final result. I could keep going.
Oh, yeah, you can keep going. I like the image though. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Anne. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I like having these interactive kind of activities here. And so I don't have anything else to share with you today. And I appreciate you all for being here today. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day.